Bing! How you doing, scare friends? It's your old confidant from the cornfield, Mr. GRiM, and welcome to the GRiM Show, brought to you by GRiMStitchFactory.com. And today, for this episode, we got a lot to do. It's going to be a lot of fun and educational, because Mr. GRiM has brought on his Mountain Man knives, and one of Mr. GRiM's hobbies is Mountain Man knife making. So today I'm going to give you a few tips on how to make your own simple, basic Mountain Man knives. And I know what the first question you're asking yourselves is, kids. What is a Mountain Man knife? Well, for those of you that are not sure, a Mountain Man knife is basically a handmade, one-of-a-kind rustic knife that's assembled from parts of other knives or what have you. So it ends up looking a lot something like this, okay? So that's kind of like a Mountain Man knife. You know, you got different parts that one uses to assemble to make a complete knife. And they come in, you know, large sizes, small sizes, unique sizes, okay? Again, it's really up to the design of the individual. So that's why mountain knife making is so much fun, because you can create, you know, all these artistic, cool looking pieces. Here's one's made out of bone. So if you find some animal bones by the roadside, you might want to pick those up and save them for a rainy day. Okay, so when you're making Mountain Man knives, there are basically three things that you need in order to start doing your own Mountain Man knives. And the first one is blades, obviously. So when I'm out looking for blades, I'm always hitting antique markets, barn sales, garage sales, any area like that where old steel and knives can be found, because you don't really want to go with stainless steel because it doesn't rust or corrode and it doesn't contain a nice patina. So you want to go for the old steel. So you want to go to places where these things can be found or bought or purchased. So the first thing is to collect blades. Now, don't worry about the handle or anything like that, because you're not going to use that. You're just going to rip them apart, crack them open, and use just the blade. So you got to get a collection of blades. That's number one. Number two is, since you're going to be repurposing them and making them more unique, you want to start collecting handles. Now, Mr. GRiM, I always go after old tools. Old tools have great handles. So I always collect old tools. And then I just get rid of the file or the chisel, and I just keep the handle. Or sometimes, if you're really lucky, you can just find like antique markets that just have bins of old handles. And you can go through them and always look for unique looking handles, okay? So handles are number two, okay? So we put the handles there. Third, I like mountain knives that have a little bit of character. Sure, a nice handle and a cool blade is cool, but you want to have character. And to give you an example of character, I like knives with toppers on them. I'm a big topper guy. I like that, or I like handles with these type of eyelet ringlet things. So I like this type of thing. I think this really adds to the overall Mountain Man knife. These ones are especially cool because once you're done, you can just hang them up. Look how cool that looks. Yeah, so I go with that. So, number three, scare friends, you want to start collecting toppers. And these are like old pulleys from drawers, okay? And again, antique ones are best because they already sometimes have the paint and the wear. So you want to go for those, okay? So you want to start collecting antique toppers, okay? And they can be wood or steel or brass, anything you want, because brass is really good too, because brass polishes up really nicely. Look at this one. This is a nice, that's a, you know, a formal barbecue fork I took, put it into an old chisel handle, and look how nice that shiny brass topper looks. Isn't that nice? That's really cool. Mr. GRiM loves this. I use this out for the old barbecue. I'm out there and sticking the pork and flipping the hamburgers and what have you, and putting the steaks on the plates. Oh, Mr. GRiM gets a lot of use out of this one. Okay, so there you go. You got your blades, you got your handles, you got your toppers. Now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to put them all together. And it's really, really quite simple. Not difficult at all, and it's very inexpensive too. Old Mr. GRiM, right here, he recommends epoxy. That's right. Scare friends, just a simple 2-part epoxy. I buy this for $1.50 in the dollar store. Yeah, it's really just that good. All the knives you see here were made using just this. So what you do is obviously you take the cap off the epoxy, you squeeze a little portion onto the table, you mix it up, right? All right. Then you take your handle, you spoon some of the epoxy and you fill it up. Now, if the handle is too deep, you can always pre-fill it. You can fill it with like cotton batting or something, or really fill it up. Okay, so you don't have to waste so much epoxy. Just make sure that it's deep enough so that the tang, the end of the knife, fits down. So you fill it up with epoxy, you take your blade, and you just fit it right in like that into the epoxy. And then you want to anchor it in like a vise, or just hold it there, or put it somewhere where it can stay level until the epoxy cures, and then you've got step 1 finished. And once that's done, you can work on the top of it. So you can take a look at your collection of toppers here, take a nice one that looks really decorative, and you can always affix it to that. You just take, where are we here? You just take Mr. Screwdriver, screw into the top of that, boom! Attach a nail in there, screw in a nail, take your little topper, screw that on, and then finished product looks really nice. Yeah, 3 different pieces all married into one. So it's really that simple. Mountain man knife making. Now you can come up with some really cool mountain knives. Over the years I've got so many of them. I'm going to do a separate video just showing you all the knives. I'll just show you in close-up. I won't even be in the video. So here's some cool one here. I'll show you this one. That one's nice. That one's got some leather wrap on it. That's got some nails. I like to put nails in there. It gives it kind of a Texas chainsaw look, or a wrong turn. So I just put nails in there. I like putting nails in there. Sometimes you can take pre-existing blades, like a scythe. And look at this one. I took this handle. Look at that. I don't know where that handle's from, but I married that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that one. That's the coolest one I've ever seen. And that's sharp as a whistle. Yeah, I love mountain man knives. And here's some more. Just show you 1 or 2 more, then we're going to get to the masks. There's a nice one. See, again, with the handle here, with the ringlet eyelet thing, you can hang that up when you're done. Yeah. And I put, there's a little bit of wire there. I don't know if you can see that. That adds a nice decorative touch. Decoration and ornamentation when doing mountain man knives is always good. So this is one of my favorites because it's got an old antique chisel handle. It's got a nice brass topper with some old paint on it. Yeah, I love this one. And the blade. Look how nicely the blade just works with that handle. That's the final step, is to figure out which blades work best with which handles, so it gets a nice, really nice looking design and a nice flow to it. A nice topper too. Okay friends, that's it. Mountain man knives. I hope you learn something, and you can go out and you can start making your own, because it's a fun little hobby, and it's useful too because you can use them. Like I said, I use this one for barbecue. Okay, so that's mountain man knives. Let's get on to the scarecrow masks, because a lot of people are here to see scarecrows. Now, if you're not familiar with the GRiM Stitch Factory already, just a little information. GRiM Stitch Factory masks are all handmade. All handmade. They're all natural, 100%. There's no silicone, there's no latex in them. All 100% burlap. So let's take a look at this guy, because he's getting shipped out very soon. Okay, he's got to be somewhere for Halloween. He's got a date. So this one, if you're familiar with my work and you've been on the website, this one is the CORN Man. He's one of my favorites. I love the CORN Man because I just think the slits in the eyes are just so traditionally scarecrow looking. And he's all laced up the side. And again, all of the work done in this mask is by hand, including the paint work. Okay, so I don't use airbrushes or machines. All this is hand stitched, hand painted. Okay, everything. Now, the masks themselves are many layers, and they're very durable. As you can see, they literally stand alone. Look at that. This is not a sack mask, scare friends, as many of you know who already have my work. Okay, so these are full durable masks. On the inside, one of the features I always like to tell people about is on the inside you got a nice 16 gauge wire. And the reason we have wire there is you can adjust the jawline. So you can narrow it, so you get your mask, you fit your mask on your head like so, and you can push in like that and narrow the jaw of your mask if you wish. Similarly, you can bring it out a bit, but most people end up just narrowing it to give it a more sleek and narrower look to the jawline. So I haven't done that with this one. I'm going to let the owner decide. But that's the CORN Man. Yeah, he's really cool. He's one of my favorites. A lot of people ask me what my favorite masks are, and I really have a nice little attraction to the CORN Man because he looks like such a natural scarecrow. Sometimes at GRiM Stitch Factory, we produce all sorts of masks. If you've seen our website, you know what I'm talking about. One of the masks that gets a little on the creative, unusual side, I brought onto the show today because I don't think I've ever shown you him before. And he's shipping out tomorrow. Okay? And this is the Frankenstein mask. Now we call him the Cornfield Frankenstein. I love this mask. This looks absolutely terrifying on anybody around 6'2", 6'3". The taller you are, it just looks terrifying. Look at that. That's the Cornfield Frankenstein. Now, this mask is the heaviest mask that I make because of all this material. I should point out too that on the inside of this one is the same as the inside of this one because they're both built on the same head. The difference is how much work is built out. And this one, as you can see, is very labor intensive in terms of design, build, and facial structure. All this has to be handmade, hand formed, and built out. And it's very solid. The Frankenstein is a very durable, thick, heavy mask. See that? That's not hollow. That's rock hard there. You could take a softball and the chops in this one. Yeah, so that's the Cornfield Frankenstein. Now, like the Corn Man, this one has a hole in the mouth, so you can always get a straw in there. You know, you can put a little straw and get a little liquid if you need a refreshment. But I will point out that because there's no silicone and no latex in the mask, it ventilates naturally. Even thick ones like this have a sense of ventilation. Here I am talking to you, dressed as Mr. GRiM. I'm not sweating in this mask. Huh? That's the great thing about GRiM Stitch Factory masks. You can wear them all night. They're lightweight, they're comfortable, and inside you can breathe easily. So that's the Cornfield Frankenstein. I hope you like him. Check out my website for more pictures. Okay, my friends, that's all the time we got at the GRiM Stitch Factory. I gotta be running along because I got a rib roast on. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for loving what I do because I love to do it for you. And until next time, keep it real scary.